Hi, so this is just one of my quick midnight ramblings. Hopefully, I'll put more up later. And it's just a little snippet of information to help you to survive this difficult time. So, I'm going to talk about a man who passed away in 2013 who was called Dr. David Hawkins. So, not Stephen Hawking, but Hawkins with an N. And this man was a kinesiologist. He was also kind of like a holistic New Age, well, I say New Age loosely, a pioneer who gave a great contribution to humankind in the form of a map of consciousness. And he did this by doing 9 years of research where he basically went around the world and used kinesiology to test a range of emotions with different people and, thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and then he calibrated his results and he came up with this thing called the map of consciousness, which you can find online. But basically what he found out was that there's a line of integrity at 200 that calibrates at 200. So, after testing thousands of people, he realized that base emotions, the lowest of which is shame, closely followed by guilt, and then you sort of ascend up the scale. There's things like anger, shame, guilt, fear, anger, greed, things like this, and then fear, which is relative. It's not the lowest calibration on the scale, but it is there. But courage is above fear. So what he calibrated was that in order to attain courage, you have to face the fear, because courage is after fear, not before fear. Anyway, and then above that, once you reach this line of integrity and you go over it, which requires courage, so courage in facing your emotions, courage in working out your emotions, once you ascend by sitting with your emotions and facing them, then you reach the higher calibrations, which are acceptance, things like love, joy, ultimately enlightenment, compassion, and so forth. But the most interesting thing that he found out is that no illness can exist above the line of integrity. So this line of integrity, which basically means that one has to step out of fear, it's a kind of immunization, if you like. So because illness vibrates at quite a low frequency, and health vibrates, it's a dimension, it vibrates at a much higher frequency. So in order to get yourself into a state of health, you simply have to make yourself feel good. I'm not saying that it's like an overnight cure and you'll suddenly be, have perfect health, but it's something that is a cumulative. So you can do this by doing things that you love, eating good foods, watching funny things, making yourself laugh, dancing, singing, going out for walks in nature, basically staying away from negative, heavy vibrations which are pumped out of the media, 24 hours a day, because our society is living in an old paradigm where it is controlling people through fear. But we're on the verge of of a great awakening. So basically, the ascension process has already begun, and the coronavirus is a contributing factor to this ascension. So there are many levels of understanding of what this coronavirus is on a 3D level. Yes, it's a devastating virus, but if you look from other levels, spiritual levels, one can see that it's a necessity, one, for the earth spirit to actually be able to stop and begin to heal herself, but also it's an opportunity for us to ascend by dealing with our emotional body, because society is not conducive to dealing with one's emotional body. It actually wants you to stay in a stagnant state by doing, perpetuating the same things over and over and over and over again. But now, because we're in a state of isolation, it's a perfect opportunity to actually meet yourself in every way, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And by doing this and cultivating a sense of introspection in the right way, by being able to sit still with our emotions, then we will begin to come to a state of acceptance, and then therefore ascend over the line of integrity, because the first positive dimension after fear and courage is acceptance, which is where we need to go. So, to cut a long story short, what I'm saying is just, I'm not saying put your head in the sand and pretend that things don't exist. I'm saying, don't dwell on it. Don't dwell on fear. Come out of fear. Train your mind to come out of fear. It is possible to train your mind to navigate its way through the emotional body. The emotional and the mental bodies represent what the Buddhists call samsara. So it's a state of, when you're stuck in the emotional mental bodies, you create and perpetuate karma. And this period of time at the moment is the perfect opportunity to overcome karma, because karma is a dimension, it's a cyclical dimension that just goes on, and it's a way that we've been living for years and years, for millennia. And now there's an opportunity to penetrate it and ascend, because as human beings we're ready to enter the next level of evolution. And the next level of evolution is not within the mental and emotional bodies. It does not perpetuate and dwell singularly within the emotional and mental bodies. It's about encompassing a much larger reality. So I hope that makes sense to you. I will try to upload more Midnight Ramblings, and I'll see you soon. Okay, tatty, bye, take care.